You were about to let us kill a dragon.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. So, welcome to. Uh, I almost named us the wrong game. Welcome to
Oh,
Braunhaven. We'll be picking up directly where we left off last week. So last week these guys had made camp for the night as they are making their way in a northwesterly direction up through the Skelos Mountains. And sitting around the campfire, they saw it started to be a rainy drizzle, and they saw in the distance, flying overhead, a white dragon. And they immediately took cover trying to hide themselves, but the dragon saw one of the um, sled dogs and came down to snatch it up for a snack. And uh, Malachi cast um, Marionette
Marionette.
on the dragon. The dragon failed its spell save terribly, and so he has it basically down on the ground and ready to accept a coup de grace attack. But before we get started, I'd like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. Tonight, we'd like to thank Speechless Bard. Speechless Bard makes beautiful leather products for your tabletop role-playing games, such as leather covers for your core rulebooks. She has dice bracelets. They're leather bands with dice cutout shapes on them, and they come in a multitude of colors. And all of her stuff can be customized. She does all the work by hand. She's an amazingly talented artist. She even goes so far as to pick out the leather swaths by hand. So definitely check her out. If you are going to order, and this is especially true if it's a gift idea, give yourself a little bit of extra time. She is over in the UK, and it can take a little while for it to cross the pond. If you are a fan of the show and you want to help us out, we have a merch store via Zazzle. We have T-shirts, we've got buttons, we've got a large fleece blanket. There's a beer stein, um, numerous items, and 100% of the proceeds from that store goes directly back into the channel. So if you want to help us out with subscriptions and bandwidth and all the little nitpicky things that allow us to do what we do, you'll get yourself a T-shirt and a button. We appreciate everything that you can do. So, progress report on the next book for Braunhaven. I have finally completed the first district. I completed the merchant district for the Imperial Port, and I'm now moving on to the docks district. And it's funny because these books, they kind of develop their own storylines as they go, and little subplots, and well, what's going on over here, and I find that especially true when you're writing about a city in particular. And so there are all sorts of little side quests and things to see and things to do, and it's very similar in nature of how the Skelos Mountains and Lost Mines of Drothamstone came about. Is that there's all sorts of little side things, and there's highly unlikely that any particular adventuring group is going to hit all of them, but um, yeah, it's just really cool. There's some stuff in there that I'm really hoping that groups do hit, because um, they are some pretty fantastic little adventures. So yeah, that is coming. Um, it's a long way to go. I'm at 104 pages, and I'm only a quarter of the way done with the Imperial Port, and I haven't done anything with Smuggler's Cove, Reefs, and the Monastery of the Jade Fist, and of course the namesake dungeon. So, so there, yeah, it's gonna be well. Just hold your horses. It's coming. So where we left off, it was Dentry's turn. This dragon is has landed, and its neck is stretched out, and you can see that this dragon doesn't want to be in this position, but but Malachi is using Marionette now. Malachi, um, you can see Malachi doing his hand movements for the Marionette spell, and he is literally straining to keep this dragon under control. We got an echo.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Can't imagine that's easy for him.
So what would you like? So if you want to make your attack, it will count as a coup de grace. It's an automatic attack that will do double damage. If that's what you
then want. I mean, I feel like that's what we want to do. We want to kill the thing. We don't want to like keep the thing alive, do we?
I don't think so. That'd be a hell of a fight.
I think we want to kill it before it gets free.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Then yes. Then I grab Jackson's Vorpal from him, like, give me that. Just playing. No, I walk over with my wonderful sword that did not shatter in the dreamland after
Right.
all.
Yes.
Still traumatized by that. All right. So then I make that at max damage.
Times 2.
So that's
No, it's double.
times 2.
Right. It's double
Max damage times 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay then. That is a D8 plus 6,
wow.
which is 14, 28.
Okay. So yeah, Dentry walks up and
Actually, no. I get an extra 2 because I'm gonna put my shield down to just maximize all of it
okay.
and go full 2-hand on it.
So
So that's plus 7 instead. So 15, 30.
yeah. So he beheads the white dragon, and basically just execution style, and
Wow.
That was beautiful.
You messed with the wrong camp.
Yeah.
so
Fucking necromancy. We all feel a little bit more powerful now.
yeah. Yeah, and you know, Scotty is you know, he's pretty amazed that you were able to deal with this. Scotty you know, reiterates that he says that was an amazing feat of magic. He says but don't expect that to work again. He says the mountains and over the ice flows of Stagina, there are many white dragons. Not all of them seem to be as stupid as this one.
Yeah. Oh, I assure you, friend, we will find many inventive ways to kill dragons as we come across them.
So the question then, of course, is, and Wes and I were discussing this before the game started, is you know, what I mean, you're camped. You've got the carcass of a white dragon.
Well, can we barbecue it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I was talking
We call
about
it scales.
it's got 4 fangs, right?
Mhm.
And each one of the fangs, in theory, could be used as a dagger that does additional cold damage to the dagger attack.
Oh,
I
cool.
think Chris said we could do that.
That is neat.
Yeah. So
Like to.
yeah. So I mean, there's that. I bet the eyes, you know, are worth snatching. We should fry that heart up tonight, because that could do some cool benefactory shit. And then there's skinning the armor the scales for dragon mail armor.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely want to try to get that going. And I mean, we could pack a lot of this meat, I guess. I doubt we could take the whole thing.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's so white dragon. They're not huge. I mean, they're not. The standard white dragon isn't an enormous dragon. So, I mean, it's only 6 hit dice. So, you know, you could theoretically. I mean, of course, it's still very large, but it's what does it say?
If we throw away the intestines and the bowels, a lot of the bones, we could, deboning it and stuff like that would lighten it up considerably. I mean,
Let's focus on stuff that we can use for cool weapons and whatever, and armor. That's more important than eating it.
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely, get a good bit of ration meat out of it, out of the prime backstrap and everything. I
So
guess.
let me take a look. Let's see, where are?
Well, we can eat the heart tonight and have a special ceremony.
So does anybody have the secondary skill of butcher?
I have furrier, but not butcher. So I might be able to help with the scales or something, but
Yeah.
not cutting out the meat. But
I
it's so
know-
big, I figure you can carve a chunk off it pretty.
Yeah. What about and I
I'm
know
not
I know
the best
one of you
at
is an armor.
Yeah, that's Dentry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Is anybody a blacksmith?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
really? No, I guess not.
no, I'm not a blacksmith.
Yeah,
Even
because
if-
Malachi is a booksmith, and Borman is a bowyer fletcher. So, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh, you're a Boyer Fletcher as well?
Yeah, Borman is, and then Malachi is a
Bookbinder.
booksmith.
he's a
Yeah,
bookbinder.
bookbinder.
So let's see. Let's have so which I know which of is it Mavis or Alora that is the furrier?
Mavis,
And what is Alora?
a fisher, I think. Yeah, it just is fisher.
Okay. Interesting. So Mavis can go ahead and let's see.
We got our guide.
That's true. I will say that the guide is a blacksmith. So he
White Dragon scale mail has got to be cool.
Oh wait, I did that wrong. Okay, reversed rolls. Where is he? Dun, dun, dun. 2. So yeah, Scopty is able to. He is going to harvest some teeth. He is able to harvest 2 of the fangs that can be made into daggers.
All right. Well, that's good. We have to actually kind of wrap them up or do something to make them actual daggers, I guess.
Yeah, you're there. You will have to spend some downtime at a smithy, having them turned into daggers.
Okay. I'm going to put on our list of shit that we got to deal with.
2 white dragon fangs.
That's right. 2.
And then let's see, what does it say?
We're definitely want to try to take the eyeballs out.
So Mavis, go ahead and roll a d12. So Mavis is able to harvest 8 of these dragon scales, which would be enough to make dragon scale armor. Look at dragons, or let me look at scale.
So
I'm
8
assuming
big dragons, 8 white dragon scales. That's what
Interesting.
goes.
So they didn't put scale in here. I would say it probably has it probably has similar stats to banded mail. So yeah, is enough scale here that you can make a suit of banded mail armor, like a banded mail shirt.
Okay. So enough to make a banded male shirt. What AC would that be without any special dragon?
So straight banded mail has a base AC of 4.
Oh. Yeah, and it might get better
And
with the dragon.
so banded mail does count as heavy armor.
Okay. So it's not quite as good as plate, but it might. The white dragon scale aspect of it might push it up, or it might have aspects to make it worth switching out.
Right.
Yeah. Good. Well done.
Benefits would it being a white dragon be?
Well,
We won't know until we make it, huh?
Right. Yeah, you'll have to find out. Now, Scompty says, and let me double check what Scompty was about to say because I just caught myself. What page is that on?
No, we're eating the fucking heart tonight, or for breakfast, or whatever. And I still want to try to get the eyeballs.
So Scompty says that the best place, if you were to have this stuff, and this is where you're going anyways, obviously the best place, if you were to have things crafted, would be in Zlatoheim. Which a lot of people kind of consider Zlatoheim to be the end of the Eastern Tradeway. That's not exactly true. So the Eastern Tradeway goes obviously all the way up to Zlatoheim, but on the northern northwestern side of Zlatoheim, it actually does continue down the other side of the mountain range and across the ice flows towards the Frosthelm Sea, and it actually ends technically in the capital city of what was that name? The capital city of
And while he's looking and thinking, why why do we have to stay on the curvy path that goes around? What stops us from making a more direct path? Instead of winding all the way around, can we just take a more straight line path?
Well, you can, but if you do that, there is a chance every day that you will get lost, even with a guide.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
Also,
there's some pretty yeah.
in a lot
Well,
of
now we
places,
know.
your ability to travel will be, at the very least, cut in half.
Well,
But I mean, you
even that.
can. There's nothing stopping you. The next and Scotty will tell you, the next stop on the Eastern Tradeway is the village of Gnomeveiholm, and where you will be able to sleep in an actual bed. You'll actually be able to eat at a tavern, with decent food rather than hunted food or rations. You can actually live like people. But if you want to set out across the mountains and get off of the beaten path, you certainly can. But just be aware that there's chances of getting lost. There's higher risk of random encounters, things of that nature.
Well, my thinking is, if we're looking for long lost places, right? Whether we get hinted there, or we find it by luck. This beaten path that everybody travels on is not going to have the long, not discovered tomb vault. It's not going to be right here on. But if we cut directly across that shit, we increase our chances on finding shit that not everybody knows about. And you know, at any time, was there a pass that went from like Gnomeveiholm all the way up?
So
Uh,
no, there have been other attempts to kind of so there were other attempts to kind of circumvent the Eastern Tradeway. So the capital city of Glaushine in the Glaucian Empire, they attempted to make their own tradeway, because right now the way it works is they have to travel south on the road that they built for the imperial port. So they would travel south from Glaushine down the imperial tradeway, and then it crosses the eastern tradeway at the town of Braunhaven, and then they would head east or west across the Barbarous Trade Bridge to go up. And so the capital city decided at one point that they were going to try to make their own tradeway, but that ended in failure. So on the western side of the Great River, the Eastern Tradeway is mostly constructed by the dwarves, and the dwarves know their shit because they live in the mountains. And under all the, most of the time as you climb, most of this road is made of snow and ice. But the bedrock that they laid down for this road is actually marble paving stones. They didn't fuck around. And so when Glaushine tried to make their road, it wasn't as good. They used cobblestone. In a lot of places it was just a dirt road or gravel. And it met with failure. Ultimately, it lasted maybe all of about five or 6 years before the whole thing collapsed. They did. It is rumored that they did have a trading post on that attempted tradeway, and Scopty tells you that there wasn't much left, but the Eastern Tradeway doesn't end at Zlatoheim. It actually continues across the ice floes to Olasveller, the capital city of Stagina.
Well, this distance here, right, is right at 50, roughly, right? And
No,
then so
these hexes are 12 miles each.
right, but the math still stays the same. Is this here is 45 and then all the way back up is almost 60. So what I'm saying is even at half pace, taking this route right up here, we've got these big mountain tops to kind of just know that, okay, we go on this side of this one, and then we should be able to see this one, and just shoot straight through, just shoot the gap. I mean, just looking at the map, I think it's about the same time, just going even at half pace, just straight up the shot.
So to give you an example, from here to here is 72 miles.
Right.
You can only, I mean, if you stay on the Eastern Tradeway, you can travel about 12 miles a day, which is one hex.
Okay.
But I mean, like I said, you can, of course, go cross country. You do not have to stay on the road.
I mean, it's up to everybody else. I'm not trying to say we need to do this, but I just, on my line of thing, Malachi wants to stay on the easy fucking path, but Borman,
I think Malachi should look for corpsicles along the way and do the memorial and see if we can get more info.
we could do that. Yeah. I definitely want to take the eyeballs out of the dragon before we leave and eat its heart. We might try some crazy
gain its
ritualistic
knowledge somehow.
Oh, well, we could try I was talking about trying to do the memorial spell. I've got it on a scroll.
Does it work on dragons?
Well, I mean,
Maybe we
we
could find out.
he said they weren't that intelligent. But I mean, the danger is anytime I do it on anything, I have to roll an intelligence check, and if I fuck that up, then the entity has control.
Right.
Oh, let's not do that then. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I take.
Yeah, we do not want to give that dragon control right now.
But man, I really would like to try to figure out where its lair may have been.
Well, Scotty tells you that white dragons, they can range hunting for food for hundreds of miles. I mean, flying this thing.
That could be very off path.
Flying, and this is its base movement rate. If it's being careful and trying to, hunt and eye the ground, it can move like 240 feet in 10 minutes. So I mean, it's nothing for white dragons to range, 100, 200 miles from their lair.
Okay. Well,
there might be some other dragon lair, or there'll be something cool. Let's just travel normally and see what we come up against.
All right, cool.
That's my vote.
Well, I'm fine with that.
So now that Malachi, roll a d6.
All right. Five.
So Malachi is able to cut off. So where Mavis was able to harvest these scales, Malachi is able to, out of that skin, basically get 5 feet of dragon hide that he can, of course, that will have to be tanned and to be turned into leather for book covers.
Oh, that would be awesome. So yeah, 5 feet of dragon hide.
Now, having done some bookbinding, I can tell you 5 feet isn't a lot. That's basically it. 5 feet is barely enough to do one book.
Yep, I hear you, but it's still a nice little something. Yeah, all right.
And so, and then for the eyes, who wants to try to harvest the eyes? This is going to be a roll.
Right.
This is going to be an ability check since nobody really has. I don't know. I mean,
What ability would it be?
I guess Alora with Fisher ability. I would
Fish his
assume
eyes
that.
out of the.
Well, I would assume that part of being a fisher would be that you would know how to gut and clean fish.
Oh, okay, yeah, you pop the eyeballs out. Okay, I could try it. What dice am I rolling?
So in this case, roll a d4. Okay, she's able to harvest both of the eyes.
Awesome, beautiful. I'm gonna put them in the dragon body part crap. New eyes. Yep. And then last but not least, we want to try to get the heart and fry up some heart steaks. And
Okay, so none of you is a butcher, so who wants to try? This is going to be a dexterity ability check. Who?
oh, Borman.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Me.
Go ahead and roll a dexterity ability check.
All right, so I add my modifier to this roll,
Or subtract it.
subtract it. So 8 minus 3 is 5.
Yeah, I mean that would have to be below your dex.
Yes, I have an 18 days.
So Borman is
So-
able to harvest this heart, and you guys are cooking up some heart.
Alora cooks. The witch has got to be the cook, right?
She just boils everything. So I don't know.
Yes, it-
Maybe.
It's
Throw it
just
in a
making
cauldron.
a heart stew, and she dances around it naked and shit.
I hope
We all
she gets
turn-
it. I hope somebody
Yeah.
fucking can.
I would think I don't. Is cook even a? I don't think cook is even. I think it's just automatically assumed. Yeah, it's automatically assumed that everybody knows, the basics of how to cook,
All right.
which really should be the truth in real life.
Sure.
but
Well, yeah, definitely got to eat the heart. I mean, that's just the way all of it has always been. You eat the heart of the beast that you kill in order to,
So yeah, and Skopti's of course helping out. Alora's making this dragon heart stew, and Skopti's all for this. Being a Stygian gargantua, he is basically a barbarian. He's actually a barbarian ranger, and he is 100% for the idea of eating the heart of your foe. And he does express some melancholy over that. So the Stygians venerate white dragons, and he expresses some melancholy over the fact that this dragon was unable to put up much of a fight, but at the same time he's thankful for that because he's not sure that we would have succeeded. And as you guys you finish cooking this stew, he does mention, he says those the parts that you took, that especially the eyes and that hide or the leather, or the dragon hide, you're going to want to keep that as cold as possible until we can get to Gnomeveiholm to do whatever it is that you're going to do with it. If you're turning the hide into leather, he's sure that somebody there will know how to do tanning. But if it rots, then it's no good to anybody.
I assure you, they will not rot. I just need to rest, and I will be able to preserve them forever.
So, as you guys are chowing down, Skopti does tell you. He says after Gnomeveiholm, there will be some difficult, perilous travel. And he says he says the most immediate threat is Stromvold, which is here. It's quite a ways from Gnomeveiholm. I mean, yeah, it's quite a ways. But he tells you that Stromvold is a a hold of fire giants. They tried to take over the Skelos Mountains, but the dwarves of Zolatoheim put down their attempt.
Fire giants, you say?
Yes.
Wow, they melted a bunch of stuff, I guess.
He says.
Well,
He says also. He says you were mentioning that there aren't any abandoned or ruined sites on the beaten trail, but that is not true. Around in this area, and he's got like a vellum map. He points out. He says there is an abandoned tower. Nobody knows who made the tower, but I many people have made the mistake of resting there for the night, and it never ends well for them.
well, they perhaps were not wielding Frostbrand.
Perhaps.
Well, I gotta think it turns into a +3 sword against fire giants, because that's in the. It's actually on the manual shit right here.
Yeah.
Frostbrand. It's the second handout on the thing, but yeah, +3 against fire using and fire dwelling creatures, and I gotta think creatures. I gotta think a fire giant falls under that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that sounds exciting.
So yeah, he tells you that not.
Going that
He
way.
says it's not always true that these that there aren't ruins on the beaten path. The Eastern Tradeway is very old.
Okay, well, that interests me, says Borman, because I really would like to go poke about in some old and unused places
And
that
and,
have
and
valuable.
he reiterates that there is the old prospector in Gnomeveiholm, Borwin Ingotforge, who he has been all over the mountains. If there is a lost site, especially an old mine, he will know.
Sweet.
All right, yeah,
Because,
then
what I
yeah,
was thinking, it could be like any hex anywhere, so I didn't want to wander for that reason. But I do want to find old cool stuff. That would be great, and hopefully not get forced into being all high by someone again.
So just and this of course is metagame. This map that you are looking at here, this is the player's map. I have a referee's map that is available when you purchase this book. That actually shows other sites that aren't here. The only way for you to find them is to wander into that hex.
Oh, okay.
See, now you're trying to talk me into spanning the fucking gap again,
I'm
because
just
I'm just
saying.
willing. Yeah,
But you
um,
could, I forget how high I can fly the broom, but I may be able to scout away.
oh hell yeah.
I don't. Uh,
That might attract dragons too. I'm not sure if
I
that's great.
don't think that it has a flight ceiling. Let me look. Room of flying. It can travel 240 feet base movement, 80 foot in counter movement, and you can carry one additional passenger, which drops its speed to 180 or 60, and that's it. So, and yeah, you could fly aerial recon if you wanted to.
Yeah, I might let me see. I might let Borman do it too if he wants to invisible. That'd be super weird for a broom to be flying around by itself, but I think that would be would attract less predators.
Can do that. I can loan you my ring of invisibility if you want
Oh,
to do it.
that's cool too. All right.
Yeah, we're friends.
I guess when we stop, I can do that. I can look around and see if I can see
Yeah,
anything in the adjacent hexes.
that
Okay.
would definitely help us forge a more direct path if we want to leave the beaten path. But
So I mean,
Yeah, it's just
if Alora's flying on the brim, that's 240 feet per turn. That's every 10 minutes. She's
still have the ring of
she basically
invisibility
has the
on.
movement of that white dragon.
Yeah.
so okay, where are we on the path right now? Let me see. Oh, there we are. So yeah, I could take a peek at at this hex just fly up and look over, kind of a thing, and see if I see anything.
So you don't see anything of interest there.
Okay,
You
that's all
can,
right.
but once you fly up, well, I don't know. 2, 4. Nah, that's a long ways. Yeah, you don't see anything of major interest there. And you don't see anything
Okay,
of major interest here or here. So, basically in the 12 miles around you, you don't really see
that's
anything.
okay.
Yeah, well, we just keep this up. That's the thing is we
Yeah,
keep letting you
keep
fly
looking.
all around. Yeah, looking and just take a wide berth, and we will creep along the pathway, and we'll take regular breaks and talk. If you can haul ass, maybe you could quickly go back to the clan of the owlbear and tell them that there's a huge fucking dragon carcass here that they can come get the meat and eat.
Yeah.
Are they hurting for food, or are they?
Well,
I
it's
don't.
winter. I mean, I gotta think
Oh,
food is
okay.
hard to come by,
All right.
right?
Let's see.
Well, I mean, we were just
Plus,
there.
it's just we don't want the food to go to waste. It's just kind of like
Uh,
You guys are so thrifty. Um, let me see. How far are we? We're a couple.
we're,
We're
we're
almost
just
12 miles ahead of them, aren't we?
yeah.
Hmm. Oh well. Okay, keep on trucking.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool. Yeah, in the morning, as soon as we come up, this I'm gonna I'm not I'm gonna use uh decay twice on the dragon eye and the dragon hide, so it will not decay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you are able to preserve those items.
So on the list, I'm gonna say these are preserved. That really does raise their value, but
Well, yeah. I need to roll a d6. So the foggy drizzle continues as you guys move another 12 miles, and shit. All right. And once again, you make camp for the night, having moved your 12 miles, and let's see, 1, 2, 3. Alora at what? That's 36 miles. Um, on the horizon, Alora doesn't see anything of major, um, any kind of waypoint or locations around, within the 12 miles around you. But she can see smoke on the horizon. Um, and at night, flying around, she can see, firelight and whatnot way off in the distance, and realize that is Gnomeveiholm. And but here we go again. I will let somebody roll a d8.
do it, Brian.
just one.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Our fate is in your hands.
It's probably not a good thing, but okay.
Hell, that's middle of the road.
Okay, that's not terrible.
It's exactly what you want to hear every time. That's not terrible.
Subtable B. And so then now roll a d20.
D20.
9.
That feels less good.
So this
I don't know.
is interesting. Very, very interesting. So you guys make camp for the evening, and I assume that you guys are going to, want to set up a watch.
Of course.
Okay. Who's taking first watch? Well, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 of you, so I roll a d6 plus 1, and we will find out which watch this happens on first.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to happen on the last watch. So who's taking what watch?
Mavis is
We'll
taking
let the
first
dude who
watch
kept
then.
talking about I need sleeps.
Yeah. Malachi will be in the beginning probably because he'd like to study his spells and get something different than decay
Okay.
after spending the day out. So he'd want to do early.
Yeah,
I don't know. Why don't we all just roll a d20 for each of our characters, and whoever gets the lowest one, it's on their watch.
There,
Yeah,
yeah, you can do that.
I agree.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wait, for D20 per character. I need another
But
one.
yeah, then that tells what watch it is. Whoever gets the lowest. So right now Malachi has a 4.
It's Dentry.
Gentry got the 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Dentry, this is about halfway.
I had the last watch.
Yes, on the last watch, Dentry, everybody else is tucked away in their tents. Scotty doesn't have a tent. He's just got an oil tarp that he throws over him in the rain. And Dentry, you see that coming out through Dentry can hear the snapping of twigs and movement coming through the trees.
Mm.
What's Dentry doing?
Gentry. Does it does it sound like something small, like a little creature rustling around? Does it sound like footsteps, big, large creature?
It does not sound like a large creature. It sounds like people. And you
It sounds like people.
and now you can hear somebody say, "You idiot! You're making too much noise."
Oh yeah, I'm waking up the party.
You're waking everybody up. Okay.
I'm waking up. Like I'm waking up the person closest to me, like quietly. Like don't let them know that we know that they're coming, but yo, they're coming.
Okay. So.
So I do my best to quietly wake the party.
Okay.
Do I need to roll for that quietly wake the party?
No, I mean, I would think anybody knows how they can, quietly wake people up. But I think that these guys will need to make a roll. Oh, that's the wrong dice. Wanted that one. Okay, so you quietly wake everybody up, and everybody is, up, and obviously Dentry already has his armor on because he was taking watch. That would have been the first thing that Dentry would have done when he woke up and it was his turn. But anybody else that needs to put on armor, that's kind of what they're doing, equipping themselves. Dentry, make a wisdom ability check.
Okay. I have to get over or under?
Under.
Yeah, nope.
Okay. So Gentry's kind of, taking his watch. It doesn't take very long for Scopty to get his armor on because Scopty wears furs. He fails too. And so you guys are, Scotty is kind of standing guard and you looking one direction, and Dentry's kind of standing guard looking the other direction, and the branches of the trees kind of part, and you see this half orc step out wearing chainmail armor. He's got a shield, and he looks on you guys, and he has this look of surprise. He did not expect to see anybody here. And behind him, there is a guy wearing red robes. Looks like he's fairly frail, but he's wearing these heavy red robes with a fur lining, white fur lining, and he kind of bumps right into the back of the half orc, and he's like, "You oaf! Why are you not moving?" And the half orc says, "There's somebody here," and behind him is a dwarf. And the dwarf says,
All right. Well, at this point,
let me up to the front." And this dwarf comes stepping out, and
While this is going on, can Borman be sneaking around behind them, invisible, preferably?
yes,
Would like to do that, and so
Borman, you sneak around behind them invisibly, and you see that there are an additional two people. There is a half elf with a longbow, and there is another human wearing black leather armor.
yep. I'm just gonna kind of sneak. I got my move silently roll. So I'm just gonna sneak around behind them and observe how this goes down. And if one of them fucks around, I'm gonna gank the magic user.
Okay, so the dwarf steps forward, and the dwarf has his hair spiked out. In looks like he used like pig fat to spike his hair.
he's trying to go for the Super Saiyan look.
Kinda, yeah, and it's dyed like bright purple. And he comes stepping forward, and he says, "We didn't mean to come in and step on your campsite. You have my apologies." And he smacks the half orc in the belly, and he says, "Right?" And the half orc, "Oh yeah, sorry." What are you guys?
What's their business? Where are they going?
What are you doing walking around in the middle of the night?
Yeah, that too. It's cold as hell.
We've been running, trying to escape.
From what?
He says, "Oh,
You look like you were running.
well,
You look like you were walking.
we've been traveling for 3 days without rest or
Why?
food. Well, we found
Are
a
you
mine,
escaping?
and we attempted to plume its depths, but alas, we were not successful."
Ooh, cool.
What did you piss off?
He says, "There were unspeakable terrors in there."
Oh, cool. If we give
You
them
better
some
speak
food,
up some now, because you're about to run into an unspeakable terror.
Yeah,
if we feed them, I bet that they'll tell us where it is.
well,
what?
yeah, the half orc kind of looks at your campfire, and there's of course this, the leftovers of last night's meal, and he goes, "Oh, do you guys have any extra food?"
We do, don't we? Because of all the dragon meat we found.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think they're gonna hurt us. It doesn't seem like it anyway.
Yeah, and now that you're getting a better look on these guys, you can see that like
They do look like they haven't slept in a couple days.
they look like they haven't slept in a couple days, and you can see that parts of the half orc's chainmail has been rended in places. They
Ooh.
are several of them are wounded.
Oh no.
Oh, then they should rest, says Malachi. Yeah, just lay down next to the fire there, and we will serve you some of the dragon meat. It is most wonderful and somewhat fresh.
The dwarf's like, a dragon? You killed a dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Dentry stands there with sword in hand and just like, yes, I did.
The dwarf is amazed, and he takes a bite of the meat and he goes, "Aye, lads, this is dragon meat. It's got that gamey lizard taste. Yes, oh my." And so the guy in the red robes, he steps forward. He is eyeing Malachi, um, pretty hard, and you can see that he's got a sling bag, and in his sling bag you can see that there is a book.
Ooh.
Hmm. Are you a practitioner of the literary arts, fine sir?
Yes, I am. Now I need to come up with a fucking name.
Haha. Dick
Fine.
Buckus.
There you go.
I'm Dick
It's-
Buckus. He would be a barbarian, though. I mean,
The reincarnation.
yeah.
His name is Runatus. He says, I am a studier of the arcane arts.
Hmm. Would you be interested in, perhaps, the old custom of scroll exchanging?
Roll a.
Charisma, fuck.
No, roll 2d6, and you can add your charisma modifier to it or subtract.
Yeah, as I said, fucking charisma. Let's see. Malachi's charisma is bullshit. But let's get a number on it.
Well,
All right, I have a minus one.
He's talking to Malachi. So yeah, roll 2d6 minus 1.
All right, 2d6 minus 1. Here we go. Because I have a 6 for my charisma.
Okay. So he kind of cocks his head and looks at you and says, yeah, we can discuss it. And he kind of starts to cough, and it's a racking cough, and he leans forward on his staff, and he's clearly not well.
Well, perhaps you should spend some time with Mavis.
Yeah, I could try and help.
So that's that comes out sounding a little odd. Perhaps you should spend some time with Mavis, huh? What kind of cleric is she?
I talked to the guy that was asking about the food, the half orc, and I would say to him, some of you don't look long for this world.
I mean, I could
do a healing word or
yeah, but I have a ton of scrolls that we don't have a use for. Perhaps, what about a water breathing spell? That's 3rd level druid scroll.
I should give him a healing pat on the back before we try and train with him, right?
Yeah, that might get us better things.
Yeah, you can pat him on the back. Do you have cure disease?
Let me see. I have a scroll of cure disease that I could use.
Fuck
That's
it.
what they require. I could do some good in this world. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's wise to do right by these guys. Of course, Borman has still not revealed himself.
Right.
I thought being in the snow would make that harder.
So
You gotta, I'm quiet and I'm sneaky.
no, that's not what I meant.
Maybe I'm walking in their footprints. So if they go to sleep and we coup de grace 'em, what kind of experience tanks do you think we'll get for that? I'm joking. I'm joking. I mean, I'm all more about the role play than the gankety
so
gank. But
so you're gonna
if
use
Gentry's,
I
your cure disease scroll.
so I have a question about like changing spells. I could if I wanted to make that a well, okay. Yeah. I'll use the scroll. That's okay.
Okay. So with divine magic, it doesn't work the same way as arcane. So if a magic user or arcane caster finds a scroll, they can make a um, check to see if they can copy it into their book, and it costs a certain amount of money to scribe it over. Once it is scribed into their book, the scroll basically turns to ash. If it's successful, well, it doesn't matter if it's successful or not. It is consumed. Divine spells don't work the same way, because divine spells, clerics and paladins and whatnot, they don't have a spell book. They pray every morning or whenever they pray to their god, and their god grants them whatever spells that they prayed for. So
Okay, so I can change them out in the mornings, basically.
right, and then once they have that spell, they can then choose to make a check to scribe it down into a scroll.
Oh, okay. I should make scrolls in the mornings then. I'll start doing that with some of these.
Yeah,
yeah.
you could pray for a spell and then scribe it down.
Cool.
Now, with any magical research, it does cost a certain amount of money, and it is. Hold on here, I will tell you. Magical research. Yeah, it's 500 gold pieces per level. So basically, this is whatever the material components might be, such as, perhaps the ink needs to have the dust of expensive gems or ingredients from rare animals or monsters, things of that nature. Um, so, yeah. And for arcane spells, they have to be a spell of a level which the character can cast, can be copied from another source, such as scrolls or spell books. Um, the chance of success depends on the character's intelligence score. I would say that basically the chance of copying down a scroll would be, for clerics, would be based on their wisdom score. And it's basically the same table. So what is Mavis's wisdom?
It's 12.
So you would have a 50% chance of being able to scribe a scroll.
Okay, I'll do that like later though. For now,
Okay.
I'll just cure this guy's disease with the scroll I do have.
Okay. So anyways, so to answer Dentry's question, you mentioned that you're talking to the half orc, and the half orc tells you, oh yeah, we got set upon. We didn't expect there to be such terrible things in that mine.
I mean, that's kind of the odd way to say it. I mean, dangs. I mean, if you found kobolds, there's no shame in running for those type of creatures.
Oh no, this was not kobold.
I mean, half orc to half orc. What'd you see?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a half orc. He's a half orc. So I kind of want to be like, come on, what was so terrible that we couldn't handle?
He
Perhaps
tells
if we all regrouped and went together.
Well, so Dentry, you notice that this half orc he's holding a longsword. You see and his shield. You see that there are large patches of rust on the shield and on his sword, and in one section of his sword, the rust is almost eaten completely through the blade. And he tells you that the first thing that they ran into were rust monsters. He said the there are traps in there too. Their cleric went into a room and fell into a spiked pit.
And I guess you guys don't have a rogue or somebody to find the
Oh,
trap?
they do, but the cleric ran ahead. The rogue had unlocked the door with his lockpicks, and the cleric pushed through. Since he was kind of a uppity bastard, so we're not really all that sorry to see him go.
Right. And where's this mine that you went to?
So they tell you that the mine is to the northeast and at the base of a small mountain pass.
Ooh. Ooh, I like going that way.
Do we have armor that we can go in and not get totally owned by rust monsters though? Because like I feel like most of our weapons and stuff we can lose
It's my
them
understanding
completely.
magic shit's immune to the rust monster.
No, it is not. It does get magic items do get a saving throw based on your saves.
Let's see, I
And I
thought
What were
mean,
you what were they looking for in the mine, I wonder?
Well, he tells you. Oops, that's the wrong window. He tells you that it was rumored to be an old electrum mine, and he says that uh, dwarves had set up this old electrum mine, and that something chased them out. He doesn't know, what or why they left, but there have been tales that there's a dwarven hall there that was still filled with treasure, and that was the whole reason why they went in there, and it did not end well for them.
I
maybe
like the idea of dwarven treasures.
me too. I just rust monsters. How many rust monsters were there?
He says they only ran into one, but their equipment started to degrade almost immediately.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, what kind of spell?
well, knowing that there's a rust monster, we can use gear that's like less important to us to slay that.
That's correct. We can use some of our lesser magic items to battle it. I mean, we've got a kind of a store of them. We're talking about trading scrolls.
Oh yeah.
Does he have? What flavor of scrolls would he have?
Let's see.
I mean, I've got a wide selection of shit in the bag of shit I've got to deal with.
So he thanks Mavis for curing his disease. He had caught some kind of cold. Really? There we go. He has a second level arcane spell. Yeah, he has a scroll of detect invisible that he'd be willing to trade for that druid spell. He says, I know somewhere that I could sell that druid spell.
All right. Detect invisibility. That's a magic user spell, I guess.
Yep, 2nd level magic user spell.
I'll do it.
So it'll detect invisible lasts for 6 turns, so 1 hour. And the range is 10 feet per level, so 20 feet. And invisible creatures or items in range are revealed to the caster.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you very much for the wonderful trade. That's gets me rid of one of our druid scrolls and gets a magic user scroll and a thing. When Malachi
If
gets
my
to
ranger ever gets a high enough,
what level can you start using magic user scrolls?
oh god,
Well, I don't think rangers they cast as druids, don't they?
yeah, as a druid, I was thinking if my ranger ever gets there,
Yeah, 8th level is the first level
Uh,
that he would get a 1st level spell. What level is
uh,
Jackson?
5th.
yeah, that's a long way to go. It's slow
There's a
progression.
long way to go. And we'll probably run into
Yeah,
other stuff before then.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm barely 5th level at that. I still have another like 16,000 experience to go before I get to 6th level.
Malachi's got less than he's got less than 1,000 experience points before he gets 5th level, and then he's going to multi-class into magic user. Is the plan?
Solid plan.
Yeah, because the magic user scroll spells keep popping up, you know. So
Yeah, it's one of the most common.
Oh, that's true. But we really
yeah,
need somebody with it.
yeah. So I mean, the the magic user spells. I'll get levels quick as a magic user.
So in OSE and really this is true for Braunhaven. Um, Magic user is the most common arcane class, and then you of course have the specialist class. Illusionist and necromancer are specialties off of magic user. I mean, they're all wizards or sorcerers or whatever you want to call them, but they're specialists.
So I'm just going back to my roots a little bit
Yeah.
and getting into some magic user levels because it's too much shit is aligned with the magic user. But
I mean, realistically, I mean, if I'm not going to make this change, but realistically, if you wanted to be like a necromancer or a illusionist, it almost would make sense that you have to take at least one level of magic user before specializing into one of those subclasses. But
yeah,
I'm not going to. I don't want to get into that because I think that some of the specialist stuff from 3rd
man,
edition later is kind of retarded.
what 1d4 hit points, and you have to live not being able to do hardly jack shit.
Right. Well, there's that.
I mean, so I'm just saying,
Yeah, there's that, but there's also I don't want to get into that kind of complexity.
I live past that, so I'm gonna dive off into more
Now,
magic stuff.
then the question, of course, that I have, and your question brought up another question. Let me look at Necromancer. What is your? Let's see your spell list. So your spell list does not have detect invisible that I see. So you would not be able to cast this from the scroll. Yep, you're muted.
Until I'm able to cast 2nd level magic user spells.
Right.
Then I can cast.
Yes. But I was just looking at the necromancer spell list to see, because if it is on your spell list, and it is an arcane spell, then you would be able to cast it, but that is not the case. So.
Yeah. So just it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. The only other thing I know to do is hire a fucking magic user and keep up with yet another character, and I don't think anyone's really interested in that. So.
Right. Yeah. So, and I still don't know what when Billy or CL come back. I don't know what kind of characters they're planning on playing. So, um, just be aware that your group may grow by 1 to 4 more characters somewhere in there. So,
Fun.
So, yeah, these guys kind of settle in around your campfire and are thankful to you for this campfire. They point out on the map, exactly where this mine is, and they tell you that there's the. Well, take a look at this map. The opening. It's really. The dwarf tells you that he says usually my kin like to make a big to do and show you where their halls are. They put up a sign or statue. There's none of that here. It's just a hole in the mountain, and it looks like there's been a cave in.
Okay. Were you able to get inside easy enough though?
Oh yes. Yeah, we didn't have to dig anything out.
All right. Wow. Perhaps if you have some gems and stuff, it looks like you might be in. This is what Borman says as he becomes visible. Perhaps you would have need of trade for some new armaments.
Yeah, have Borman roll 2d6 plus or minus his charisma modifier.
I'm just trying to get rid of some of our redundant magic items,
Yeah.
and turn it into something. So anyway, 2d6 plus my charisma modifier as Borman. So I have a 10 charisma. I get no change.
So 0.
Alright.
Ooh.
11.
So they're like, meh. They seem a little indifferent to the idea, but the half orc. Let me see exactly. That's not right.
I don't want fucking coins. I want gems.
Well, the half orc has 40 gold pieces on him. None of them have any gems.
Oh. Oh, that's a shame.
They're injured, starving.
Can they give us any more
poor.
information about the place where they were?
They tell you they didn't make it very far in. He says, but the dwarf tells you, he says, but evidently that it is an old mine because the dwarves had turned it into a hall. So one of the common things that dwarves will do is they will dig out a mine, right? And as they continue digging deeper and deeper, they'll go back to the early areas of the mine and they will smooth it out and turn it into a dwarven hall. And he tells you that most of this mine, at least the section that they were in, was indeed a dwarven hall, and he suspects that there is valuable treasure in there, but they didn't make it in far enough. The rust monsters got the better of them.
I'm glad you slayed the rust monsters.
No, they didn't. They retreated and ran away.
Oh. Well, that's wonderful news. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, especially since their cleric was dead, and um, now they had a creature that was disintegrating their equipment. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wise for them to leave. Do they know the way to Gnomeveiholm?
well, yeah. I mean, everybody knows the way to Gnomeveiholm. It's straight,
Okay, just
it's
checking. I
straight
thought maybe you
north.
were lost too.
Yeah, no, I mean, not that everybody knows the way, but the thing about the Eastern Tradeway is that even when the unless the snow is really deep, which it doesn't usually get that deep, but the trail is usually marked with these gas lamps that the dwarves um, basically came up with. They made a deal with gnomes, and they installed essentially a gas pipeline along the Eastern Tradeway. And at dusk, they turn on these gas lamps, and they have an auto igniter. And so there are gas lights on posts, like you know every not frequent, but I mean they are frequent, but they're not close together. They're maybe a mile apart,
Gotcha.
so everybody can follow the Eastern Tradeway even in inclement weather.
All right.
Yeah, I think we should move on, I guess.
Yeah, we can sleep here, suppose, and then in the morning we'll take off
Well, I
or
mean
something.
it's morning now.
Oh,
You guys
okay.
have completed
This is the last
you
stop.
basically these guys showed up at the end of your um,
That's
at the
right.
end of your night, and they they're like, don't kick out the fire. We're gonna rest around the fire, and then make their way to Gnomeveiholm, and hopefully they can at that point find
Do
find an easier way to go back down the mountain. They're done with this.
you guys want to go to Gnomeveiholm or go to where the restaurants are?
That is
Um,
your decision.
well, man,
It's shorter is if you leave from Gnomeveiholm, you get the benefit of being in town, and spending a
you
night in
know,
town, and it's shorter distance from Gnomeveiholm to the mine. It's only like 36
yeah,
miles.
let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go to Nove home first. Just you
sure.
guys, yeah, tell these motherfuckers, we're headed to Nove home, but you got to get up and walk.
They tell you that they're gonna rest for a night, and so they'll be like a day behind you.
Yeah, have fun.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so another day of travel. Oh, and I need to check. What's the
We
weather
didn't get
say?
any magical benefits for eating dragon heart.
No, you did not.
Well, that sucked. Well,
I hope it was tasty.
you never know what fairy tale land you might be in until you fucking do it.
Sure.
Like there's old rumors and legends, maybe not in D&D and stuff, but there's lots of stories where people have gotten power from eating dragon hearts or drinking their blood or you
Kind of
know.
cool to say you did it anyway.
Yeah.
So you guys set out, and throughout the day, the foggy drizzle kind of clears up, and the sun comes out, and of course, it because it is drying up all. It's been this foggy drizzle for the past 2 days. It is terribly humid. Um, if you're wearing heavy armor, you're like trudging along, and the temps are start to climb up to like 85 degrees.
Well, Borman's going to switch over to leather armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if in this sunny, humid weather, it can cause you to be at half movement.
Oh,
Of
geez.
course, you're in the benefit of sled dogs, but of course, in 85-degree weather, there are patches of the road that there's no snow on it. There you can actually see the marble paving stones.
You know, this is warming up a lot. It's massive temperature screens. That might mean Alora has a better view and can able to look out further as her does her patrol sweeps.
Yeah. So inner patrol sweeps. Yeah, she doesn't find anything, and you guys are able to camp for the night, and everything goes well. There's no surprises, there's no interruptions. You guys get a fairly hot and or warm and humid night, and the following morning the sun just continues to go on. It looks like it's going to be this way for a couple of days.
Wow.
Nice. Well, maybe we can make faster time.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
the following day, again, no problems. You're not interrupted, and as night is starting to fall, you can start to smell uh, what what could be either campfire um, or fireplace smoke on the air. And Scopty asks you, as you guys kind of stop, it's getting to be dusk. He says, "Do we wish to stop now, or do we want to continue traveling throughout the night? Gnomeveiholm is maybe another 6 miles."
I say we make it. What do you guys think?
I think we just push on through 6 miles.
That's not much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I concur.
Yeah. Need to. I will need to clear this.
Moving up the coastline. Fun, fun, fun.
That's better. Okay. And actually, so you guys push on, and it is now the middle of the night. Well, not middle of the night, but probably closer to, yeah, it's about midnight as you guys pull into this small village, and you can see. So these here, you can see these are these gas lamps, and through Gnomeveiholm, they are more frequent and closer together. All right, trying to. Oh, that's the wrong bill. Derp. I'm an idiot. There we go. So this one, of course, this is the Eastern Tradeway as it continues up the mountain, and of course, at midnight, you've been traveling throughout the day where it's upwards of 85 degree weather, but at night up in the mountain, it drops down and it's quite cold. The low is, probably closer to 40, so it gets chilly. And the first thing that you see by gaslight is that you see that there is a large cave here, and you see numerous tracks in the mud and what little snow that there's left that go in and out of this cave, and they seem to be small tracks. And Jackson, you can go ahead and make a tracking check if you'd like.
Excellent.
Oof.
X. Mother, did you
Actually-
guys see that?
Actually, though,
Did you
and
see that it was on 10, got hit by the other dice, and moved over to 90?
yes, but it is soft ground, so you get like a minus 50%. So that's a 44.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell? It was going to be a 14.
So Jackson looks at this and tells you that those are clearly gnome tracks. And he points out, he says you can tell that they're not halfling tracks because the toe of the boot that they're wearing is a little bit curved, pointing up, as opposed to halflings that generally wear more human style boots or go barefoot.
I guess let's head up there and talk to the gnomes.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's midnight, so
we'll need to find somewhere to stay. Is there anywhere that's
Yeah.
their big sign that says inn anywhere or
over
anything?
over here you see that there is a stable and boarding for mounts and animals. It looks like a 3-story barn type structure.
Well, that's promising. 'Cause
Yeah,
people need a place to board things.
Yeah, you've got
that's got to be our first place.
you've got what 3 dog sleds and 18 dogs.
Yeah,
Well,
let's try to
17
arrange
dogs.
it.
Yep, we need to go have boarding for the animals set up. If they would have somebody attending there, be great.
Okay, so you guys make your way over to this this barn, and you can see that, of course, the all the lights inside are there's no light. You can see through. You can see firelight like from a fireplace, but other than that, the place is locked up.
All right.
All right.
Is there a
The next
ring
closest
for
thing-
service bell or
Well,
something?
Scotty just walks up and bangs on the door,
Oh,
and
he's got to know. Yeah, he has to know what to do.
after a few minutes, this guy comes down and opens the door. He goes, "Oh, you're here late." And Scotty says, "Oh, hello. We apologize, but we just came into town. We got here late. We need to put the animals up for the night."
Yeah.
So the guy behind the door, he says, "Oh, I'll go open up the barn. It'll be 6 facial per sled, and so it'll be 18 silver pieces."
Yeah, I got it.
And he opens up the side of this front end of the barn, and you can see that inside there is a blacksmith shop. But it doesn't look like they do a whole lot here. Looks like mostly simple stuff like shoeing a horse or crafting iron spikes or things like that.
Okay. Well, they probably
But
should.
we could use this space to do the work we need to do, yeah?
You could ask
Maybe.
him about it.
Yeah, they let us.
So the smith, he tells you, he says, you just got into town. And he has met Skopti before. Skopti is not unknown to the region, and he says, so I suppose that you'll be staying at the Virtus Inn. And Skopti says, we haven't made a decision yet, but that would be my recommendation. Yes. He says, and Skopti says, is Arx still open? And the blacksmith kind of laughs. He goes, does Arx ever close? He says, no, that's true. That's true.
I think the place to go is to the inn first if the animals are done up.
Is ours the inn?
So, yeah, once the animals are put up, you guys make your way over here. So this is Arx Tavern and Mead Hall, and you see that there's a wooden sign out that just over the top it says Arx, and there is a carving on the wood sign that kind of looks like a it doesn't look like an ale mug. It looks like almost like a short champagne flute, and it's a two-story lodge. The main building bottom floor is a large drinking hall, and then on the second floor there is an alpine-like balcony that has additional seating that overlooks the interior. And in the back of the building, there is a still and a brewery that has large copper drums, tubing, and there's a still that takes up the southeast section of the hall. And it looks like your typical Alpine Oktoberfest type of building. It is Alpine structure, intricate woodwork, very nice. This number 6 is the Virtus Inn. It is a 3-story lodge made of timber and thatched roof. There are multiple chimneys coming out of it. The bottom floor has a large dining hall with a large fire pit right in the center, kind of like a Viking long hall. And there are, on the second floor, there are shared rooms that have a balcony that overlook. And then there is a private suite and private rooms up on the third floor.
Well,
How much for a room? My goodness, it's sweet.
Sorry, you're just heading straight to the inn. You're like, yeah. So
I don't know. That's what I figure.
so the inn.
Yeah.
So you kind of walk in and there's nobody. The door is unlocked, but the place is quiet for the evening. But there is still hot coals and a small lick of flame in the fire pit in the middle of this dining hall, and there's a counter at the back, and on the counter there's just a brass bell.
Ring it.
Okay, so you ring the bell, and down comes this gnome woman, and down the stairs, and she's wearing a night robe and a nightcap, and she goes, "Oh, we didn't expect to have any guests this late in the evening. I apologize. Oh, Skopti, how late is it?" And he says, "I am very sorry. It is late." She says, "So I will tell you. So a common room. The common room is basically just a room that you can throw out your bedding and sleep on the floor. That's only 2 facial a night. A shared room, they sleep 2 people to a room. There are there's 3 shared rooms. Well, there's more than 3, but there's enough for all of you. Those are 1 gold piece a night. And if you'd like one of our we have 2 private suites upstairs. They are 3 gold pieces per person." Oh, I'm sorry. There's a private suite that let's see, the private suite. The suite will accommodate 5 people, and there are 2 private rooms that are set up for 1 person each. The private suite is 10 gold pieces per night, and the private room is 3 gold pieces per night. 3 cestus pieces.
I think if we just get those 3 dual rooms.
Okay, that will be 3 cestus pieces. And if you would like, you can. I can draw you. I can start to put some pots on the stove in the back. And if you would like a bath in each of those rooms, it's 1 cestus piece each.
So that's what?
That's an expensive bath.
Yeah, it's probably really awesome when you come out from the cold, though.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
you've been tromping around in dungeons. She also has a laundry service. If you have anything that you would like washed, it's 2 gold pieces, and I will do, or 2 cestus pieces. I will do your laundry
Will
for you.
a platinum piece cover everything?
So a platinum piece, probably not. A platinum piece is, so 1 platinum piece is worth 5 gold pieces.
All right, so 2 platinum pieces covers it, right?
Well, yeah.
There we go.
And a bit of a tip.
Yep, cool. I will give 2 platinum pieces. This would cover hot baths, laundries, whatever.
She says,
for me and my mates.
She says, I think I still have some stew from earlier in the day that's hanging over the fire. If you would like that.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
you're weary.
I'll just throw it in.
Oh,
My
yeah,
tools.
that's pretty good. You know.
Yeah.
So she sees you guys up to your shared rooms, and she tells you, "Don't get undressed yet. I'll be up in just a moment with the hot water."
Oh yeah, fine.
And so
We'll
you
get
guys,
dressed when we want to, okay?
I walk around naked all the time, anyways. I'm a goddamn priest, and so you look out your windows and you can see that out your window here, you can see that there is a sign hanging out over the door, and it just looks like the carving on the sign looks like a tilted bowl, and then it looks like there's like gravel or something coming out of it. But it's dark and it's too far away and you can't read what the sign says. Scopty, he makes his way over to the mead hall.
I know Malachi is gonna bed in, and I mean we just came off the road, and I mean I can't think of really being. We can spend the day here if we wanted to,
Right?
You know, it's a town. We don't necessarily have to leave at the crack of dawn, but
Yeah, we want to take care of that dragon skin too, like
yeah,
can it and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, and I'd like to purchase some gems with copper and silver pieces.
That is definitely a possibility. So you guys, you know, the old gnome woman comes upstairs and fills these iron and leather leather covered wash basins full of boiling water. She goes, "Let it cool down a minute, or you'll get your scalding." And then as she fills up, there's 1 basin in each room, and then she says, "Okay, I'm going back to bed. I hope everything will be to your liking, and leave us a good Yelp review." And she shuts the door, and you guys are left in your shared rooms for the night with your hot bath. Did you?
Awesome.
And she, of course, takes with her any laundry that you wanted to have done, washed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's so nice.
Dentry's loincloth.
Yep. A nice, clean, refreshing reset would be nice.
Yeah, so you wake up in the morning, and um, she she had left your laundry hanging overnight. She didn't get a whole lot of sleep, but Gnomeveiholm, from what you can tell, seems like a pretty nice little village, and she's got she had hung up your laundry to kind of air dry overnight, and it's mostly dry by the time you wake up. And down in the dining hall, they've got now she the she does have a a wooden signboard with um, basically it's a menu, and uh, their prices are fairly steep. They've got a cheese quarter in bread is 1 cestus piece. A bowl of fruits and nuts is 4 facial. Um,
Mm.
a bowl of porridge is 3 facial. Roasted fowl is 2 cestus pieces. A
Holy
roast
shit.
joint is 35 facial. And a bowl of soup is 2 facial. And then, of course, she has stew going all day, which is 1 cestus piece.
Man, I think we're rich.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
These are Leavenworth prices.
I mean, we gotta have breakfast and shit, I guess. But if they got such steep prices, do they have gems that they might would like to sell, trade
So
for a coin?
she tells you, "Oh, I don't deal in any of that, but I can tell you where you can." She says, uh, "There is the trade post, which is number 8. They deal in all manner of things like that." And she says, um, if you have gems, you might talk to Borwin over at Borwin's Prospecting, which is number 7. Number 5, she says, if you're planning to continue your journeys, you might visit the number 7, number 5, which is Village Stores and Smokehouse. Um, and then, whoops, that's the wrong screen. She says if you're looking for, I know you came in with Skopti. He knows the area very well. And if you're looking for a little bit more information, you might check out the Waldspion Lodge, which is number 9. And now, when she says Waldspion Lodge, Jackson's ears perk up. He is immediately interested. So the Order of the Waldspion is a order of rangers that basically range throughout the Skelos Mountains. Basically, they keep tabs on the region. They either deal with threats directly, or they notify the rest of the populace of where a threat may be. Often they'll be tracking animal threats in the area, such as dragons or giants, but rarely they may also include sometimes tailing an imperial convoy that tries to make its way through the mountains. The rangers have a very good reputation. They're almost like an order of knights, but they're not knights. They're just rangers.
All right.
And in order to, if any ranger that wants to join the order can request to do so, but they have to be a minimum level 5 and either be of lawful or neutral alignments.
They gonna look at me and be like, "Man, you ain't even a real ranger.
What level
You
are
got
you?
no dexterity."
Right, right, yeah.
Joining the order, like,
Your
it
benefit?
sounds like a good idea, but like, what do I then have to do?
So basically, you don't really have to do anything. It would be like joining an order, a knighthood, or something like that. If you are accepted, and there's really no reason why you wouldn't be accepted. There, you would have to agree to, like, if you found a threat, like a group of giants that are ranging through the mountains or something like that, you would have to be willing. You're not going to keep that information to yourself. You're either going to agree
Gotcha.
to deal with it personally and put a stop. I mean, assuming that they are a threat and not just hey, we found this giant that's just going for an afternoon walk and we decided to kill him. No, that's not necessary. But if they are a threat, if they if they're causing problems, you have to be willing to either immediately deal with it yourself, or if you are incapable of doing that, such as they're not suicidal. So if you were outnumbered and you wouldn't be able to deal with it, then you would be willing to immediately mark it down on a map and inform others, to be wary in the
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I want to join.
The other thing that you see as you're kind of looking out the window is this building, this tall building here. And the thing that catches your eye about that is that, I mean, one, it's the tallest building in Gnomeveiholm. But as you are sitting there eating your morning breakfast of whatever it is that you ordered, you see the top of this tall tower. It's like 5 stories tall, and you see the roof retracting back, and coming out as this roof is retracting back, you see a large, like huge brass telescope poking out and looking up at the sky.
Well, that's freaking cool. I
Yeah.
need to find out what that's about.
Yeah, we definitely got to go around and get some shit done in this town.
It is a nice place.
Yeah.
So furriers can tan like hide, right?
I would think so, yes.
Is there anywhere I can
I mean,
do that with it? It's 5 feet of
So-
dragon skin. It's not that much.
Yeah, let me look at.
Maybe the blacksmithing area, they let me do it in there or something.
So, furrier, let me see. Is tanner on the list? It is. So tanners are the ones that can tan hides. Furriers deal
Oh,
in
shit.
in furs. And it's very there is quite a bit of overlap between the two. I would think. But you would, in this case, you wouldn't just automatically be able to do it. You would have to make a roll if you
Oh.
wanted to tan it.
Well, this is for Malachi's book, so I'll leave it up to him because I might ruin it. If you'd rather pay somebody who for sure knows what they're doing, that would be fine.
Right. I don't necessarily know that we have to tan it at all. Tanning is to keep it from decaying, and I've magically stopped that.
Okay.
It might have a neater feel to it as a more
So the
natural flesh.
The trade post does deal in leather and whatnot, and they have some ability to tan hides if you wanted to turn it into leather.
Well, I mean, do we really have to since it's been magically preserved?
If you're going to want to do anything like a book or whatever, you are going to have to. You will need to tan it.
Then let's just use the local talent.
At least
There's
70
no-
gold pieces.
Is that how much?
No, I don't know how much.
Yeah, you haven't been over there yet. So, I mean, is that your next stop? Is the trade post?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see what they have.
There's the armor needs to be made. There's a whole. We gotta hit them all. Almost anyway.
So the trade post, it is a 2-story, and the bottom, the first floor is made of stone. It is just stacked up, looks like mountain rock. And you can see that there is a large deck that goes around this alpine lodge. and that deck is built on stilts, kind of. And under this, you can see that there are a number of um, different. There's like storage, like barrels, and there's crates and sacks under this deck, and then um, there are on the second floor, which is raised. You come up there. That is the main shop, and there are racks on this deck of furs and leather hides that are drying. That they're in the process of making leather, and in the shop, there's like this 10-foot staircase that comes up to this deck, and the interior is dominated along one wall by this very long bar, like a table that takes up the entire one wall, and there are weights and scales on the table. You can see that the wall behind this bar is just covered in prize furs, and there are maps showing where the furs were located, things of that nature. There's a couple of display racks. There's common equipment that they have tags on them. You're noticing that the common stuff is selling at about 25% higher than what you're used to paying. And there is a older gentleman behind the counter, and or behind this bar, and he sees you come in, and he goes, "Oh, you have things for trade, or are you looking to purchase?"
Well, we have some white dragon hide we need tanned.
Oh, yeah. So the general purpose of the trade post is to basically they buy furs and hides from the trappers in the region. He tells you, he goes, "Oh, to hand that." Says it'll cost you 5 cestus pieces.
Those are silver pieces.
Gold.
Those gold, 5 gold. Okay, we'll do that. Here you go, buddy. Thank you.
Okay. He says, "I'll get started on this right away." He says, if you have to go tinkle, make sure you go downstairs and pee in the bucket."
Okay.
He says,
Well,
They need it for tanning, don't they?
"Yeah, they try to save every bucket of piss that they can for tanning."
yeah.
I had a weird thought just now about going to fight the rust monster. I wondered if we could pay somebody to like sew like coveralls or something. So like a big weird thing so that I don't know. I'm not sure. That might not work. Because it would be hard for them to contact the metal in your armor.
Right.
It wouldn't work on a sword or whatever, obviously, but I just thought for armor maybe somebody could do that.
That's a
Weird plan.
I don't know if that would
I
work.
I think I'm just gonna wear +1 leather and
That's good
let that be
too.
that.
That's a
Yeah.
lot more practical. My plan is strange though, so because I don't know if I have anything for Mavis to wear.
We need to
Or
get these scales turned into banded mail too.
true.
So
Or
that would be something for if you wanted to talk to the blacksmith, either your armor, Dentry could talk to the blacksmith about renting his shop so that he could try crafting that.
That would be cool.
mhm.
And you could talk to the blacksmith and see if they'd be willing to try and turn those fangs into daggers as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sounds like a plan. Mhm.
I want the daggers super bad.
Yeah.
So and so, did you have anything else you wanted to trade at the trade shop?
Do they happen to have any gems?
So he tells you, he says that if you want to, if you're looking for gems, you'll want to talk to Borwin Ingot Forge at Borwin's
All right.
Prospecting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and keep going in the circle. That'll be one of the last things we do, probably.
So he tells you that it'll to tan this hide and for it to be done and ready, it's going to take about 2 days.
Okay. We might leave town for a day or two, and then we'll come back. Maybe we're thinking about going to the mines.
Oh well, yes. If I don't know which mines you're looking for. There's old mines dotting all over this mountainside. So you may that's another one for Borwin. He keeps maps on everything. He knows this mountain range like the back of his hand.
This one has rust monsters and an old dwarven stronghold.
He says, "Oh yeah, the dwarves were all over this area."
All right. Well, yeah, I guess it's everything I can think of
Okay.
for this guy.
So you're heading over to Borwin's Prospecting. Did Dentry want to head back to the stable and talk to the blacksmith, or?
I should do that because we want to turn those scales into armor, right?
Right.
And the daggers.
Yeah, and the daggers. Although
can I make daggers as an armorer?
You cannot, but there is a blacksmith there.
Oh, so he might be able to do it himself and just okay.
Right.
All right, cool. Yeah, definitely doing that.
Okay.
Because definitely want to get the armor and daggers.
Okay, so Dentry heads on over to the blacksmith. The blacksmith, he's like, oh, well, that's an interesting request. He says, yeah. He says, I'd rent it to you for 3 silver a day.
All right, that seems fair.
And so, go ahead and roll a d4. So it's going to take you about 4 days to craft this armor.
Yeah. So is that a good roll or a bad roll?
It's fine. It's just that's how long it's going to take you to craft this banded mail. But
I think it's worth it.
But it will be banded mail +1. And so it will have an
AC of 3.
AC of 3, and it will have. And let me find it. It will have a special property. That it's not going to tell me about. Protection? No. Not temperature. I thought there was. Oh, hold on. Come on. Jesus, this book's not that big. Just find the word cold. There, resist cold. So it will be banded mail +1, so it'll have an AC of 3, and it will have a permanent protection from, or I'm sorry, resist cold on it. Unharmed by non-magical freezing temperatures, you gain a +2 bonus to all saving throws versus cold-based magical or breath attacks. And cold-based damage is reduced by 1 point per damage die rolled. Each die inflicts a minimum of 1 point of damage.
Wow.
And you could just
Should
call
I
this,
keep that stat, or are you holding that one?
you can call this white dragon scale armor.
White dragon scale armor. Okay. I need you to give me that thing about the
Oh, the protection.
yeah, the protection part again. Yeah.
Hold on here. I will dump it for you. Right. Okay. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. So, the rest of you, I mean, I'm assuming that everybody else wants to go to Borwin's. Is that correct? Or
That's the place with the giant telescope.
so who wants to go to the big telescope, the observatory?
Malachi and probably
Mavis and Laura, the nerd crew, the ones that always read.
So Mavis,
Yeah.
Allura, and Malachi are going to check out the telescope. Did Jackson want to go check out the Volspion Lodge?
Yeah.
Okay. So at Borwin's, so this is a timber and thatch on a raised stone foundation, single-story alpine cabin. There are stacks of firewood stacked up. It looks like there's enough firewood chopped here to last the entire, almost the entire coming winter, maybe the fall as well. And when you step in, there is a counter with scales and magnifying glasses, and the walls, entire walls of this whole internal building, are wallpapered with maps of the entire region. And behind the counter is a grizzled old dwarf, and he is looking at a chunk of glittering quartz, and he's got a like a prospector's magnifying glass that he's looking at it as you walk in.
this will greet the guy.
Well, hello, good sir.
He says, "Oh,
Well met, good sir.
it's nice to meet you. My name is Borwin. What have you come to trade, or are you looking for something?"
Well, we would
My
like.
name is Jackson L. Samuel.
Well, you're going to the Volspion Lodge.
Which one of us is doing this?
This is, I assume, Borman.
Yeah,
Oh, my bad.
Borman,
Whoops. I wasn't paying attention. Bad.
Borman is taking all of our loose copper and silver that we've accumulated, even the gold. But Brian has that number, and I'm going to try to exchange that for gems first and foremost.
All right.
So
The number's not very high right now because most of it.
most of it got
Right.
stashed,
Sorry.
Yeah.
but still, I mean,
Yeah.
So I offer valuation services. I can tell you what gems or deposit samples are worth. I charge 3% of the item's value. And he has you can see that there are racks around that have most of the new items like cold weather equipment, snowshoes, things of that nature. Um, he 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 says he does have some gems. How much are you looking to trade?
I will put my hand in my temple and concentrate for a voice inside my head to
So,
tell me, yeah,
uh, are are you wanting to get rid of copper? Is that what you're?
all our copper and all our silver, if we have any of that.
Well,
And I mean,
how much copper do you guys have?
5,000.
5,000.
yeah, we'd like to exchange 5,000 copper pieces for gems.
So that's only worth 50 gold. He can do that.
All right, so
But, well,
one gem worth 50 gold.
hold on here. No, he will give you, because he's gonna charge for the he's gonna charge his fee, and so he will give you 2 gems worth 20 gold pieces each, and 1 gem uh worth 5 gold pieces, and he will take and then you keep you would keep. Well, hold on, let me do this again. So you have 5,000.
500 copper.
500 or 5,000?
Well, it's 5,000 originally. We would have
Okay.
500 left after what you just said.
Right. Exactly.
He's doing that as an exchange fee.
Correct. And you would be left with 500 copper pieces, but you would have 2 gems worth 20 each, and then 1 gem worth 5.
All right, I've got the gems recorded. If you want to remove the copper from, that's just a lot of weight. You know,
Right.
Absolutely.
We hit yeah. How many silver pieces do we have?
We don't have any other gold right now or loot because that was it. Everything else has been exchanged. We've only come into one loot since then, unless you kept stuff, unless there was stuff gathered on a day I missed.
Not that I know of. I thought I told it to you.
Yeah, I think that's it. You guys haven't hit any dungeons recently.
Yeah, we haven't hit any big stashes really. Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
just 5,000 copper,
that's it. Yeah, but
which
anyway,
is now
I
500.
cleared some of the shit out.
Yeah, you cleared 4,500 coins worth of weight.
He says,
Yeah.
he says, I won't ask where you got this many drock pence to exchange, but he says, what are you in the area seeking fame and fortune?
We don't necessarily care about fame.
Oh, well, fame always comes with the position, lad.
Right. We ran into some people out on the trail, and they mentioned a mine, and I'll give him the rough estimate of where that mine was.
Oh, yes, that's an old
How about the
electrum mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Be careful in there. There's some rust monsters, and it is also well known for onk eggs.
Oh. Really, do you know of any place where we're looking for a scepter, a looped scepter? Would be real old and ancient artifact.
Well,
I'll show him a diagram, you know.
no, I don't know anything about that. He says, do you know more about where it might have been lost? You do know that it was supposedly entrusted to Nothram Ston, a
Then
dwarf.
yeah, I'll definitely perhaps some place where Northern Ston would have lived and died. His hold.
He says, "Oh, you're seeking Drothamstone."
Okay, that sounds Sounds like a name.
So he he says Drothamstone is unfortunately lost to the annals of time. Even I haven't found it, but he does tell you. Um, he says he says I think I know this story. He says my recommendation. Well, he says first. He says long about oh -320. So keep in mind that this is the current age year is like 2. Well, no, it might be longer than that. Yeah, don't quote me on that. The modern age. The current year is 200, so this is like 520 years ago. He tells
That's about the time of Tassindantilus's disappearance.
right. He says the Tassindantilus traveled with a party of adventurers: Reliver Braun, Nothramston, and some hooded guy. They adventured all across the empire and into Stagina many years. They were basically seeking lost art, doing much like what you're doing. Um, he says that it is said that Tassadantilus, Maximilian Tassadantilus, entrusted Nothramston with some magical artifact. I am not sure what it is, but it sounds like this might be what you're looking for, and that Nothram took it and went back home to Zlatoheim, where he lived for many years. But dwarves, we tend to get bored, and so Nothram went out and tried to forge his own dwarven mine, and he took a party or a company of fellow dwarves with him. You know that he is the first cousin of King Commonston, and Commonston is the current king of Zlatoheim. He says, so he went out and he tried to forge this new mine, and he got lucky, and they found a huge deposit of electrum, and he named it Drothamstone, and he started to they mined out the first level, then they went to a second level, and they turned the first level into a dwarven citadel, and he wanted it to become a sister city to Zlatoheim. And Zlatoheim, King Commonston, he says honestly he got a little jealous. Nothram was doing quite well, and but Nothram really didn't help very much, because he tended to brag about Drothamstone's great vast wealth, and that it would someday dwarf. That pun is not lost on you. It would someday dwarf Zlatoheim, and the real truth of the matter is, though, or at least rumor says, is that Nothramston had succumbed to gold fever. He pushed his dwarves to dig deeper, to be reckless, and there were actually many cave-ins as he delved deeper and deeper, trying to find greater and greater wealth. Until finally, it is said that his company dug so deep they went into a chamber under the mountain, and they chanced upon some terrible creature, and it killed all of them. And Drothamstone has been lost to the ages since.
Could that be the same mine, the same electro mine that the people we ran into?
He says, I've been in that electro mine. He says, I haven't found any terrible threat such as what is described in the histories, but I suppose anything is possible. The rumors.
How many Electrum mines are there, like around here? A
There
shitload or
there
just
are
a few?
electrum mines all over the Skelos
Oh,
Mountains. In
okay.
fact, electrum is so plentiful that the Ellsworth electrum piece is the official coinage of the dwarven city of Azalatheim.
Did you find the stronghold, the dwarven stronghold in that mine? Just up
There
there?
is a dwarven hall there, yes, but I've never found any ancient artifact or anything of that nature. I was mostly there looking for loose electrum and mining for ore. Unfortunately, I think that it's mostly mined out.
So it's under your opinion that the nearby mine that the guys went and explored is really just not worth the time.
I didn't say that. I didn't find it's not worth my time. I'm a prospector. But I didn't go in very deep. I just went in looking to see if there was any of the electrum vein left, and I didn't find much. So it's not worth my time. But it is an old dwarven hall. What lay behind locked doors may be worth more to you.
You found locked doors there?
Oh, there's several locked doors.
All right. I'd like to go check that out and see if we can find a clue on where this other stronghold is. I mean, if
There's so many places to explore. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean that one's close by. The rust monsters don't really excite me. You know,
I
All right.
love rust monsters.
are the rust monsters common everywhere?
I don't think so.
They're not super common, but they
People
do
would
pop
stop
up from
making
time
shit
to
out
time.
of metal if they were everywhere. People would stop making so
He
many
says,
metal things.
unfortunately, they're fairly common up here. I mean, not common, but they are not unheard of. They're next to Electrum. There's a lot of iron in the Skelos Mountains.
All right. Well, yeah, I think what we got about 4 days here. We can mull over his maps and stuff and try to come up with a plan.
So
Yeah.
he holds out his palm. Says information is 5 cestus pieces.
I'll give
Ooh.
him that 5 gold piece gem.
Okay.
I
He
guess.
takes it back. He says, if you have any other questions, come back to see me. So, Jackson, you make your way over to the Waldspion Lodge. And it is a similar to the trade post. It's a 2-story timber construction with a deck outside. And when you get up inside, there is a small common area that's up on the 2nd floor, and there's a stairwell inside that goes down to the 1st floor, not really like a sub basement, but it is a stone, mountain stone construction basement. And that is a shared room that members of the Order of the Waldspion can kind of use. And there are 3 rangers sitting in there, and you open up the door, and they've got a fire going in the fireplace. And these 3 rangers, one of them looks a little bit older and a little bit more grizzled than the rest. All of them look like their skin is made out of leather. They look like they haven't shaved, probably haven't bathed in quite some time. And the 2 of them are sitting there eating like a stew that is cooking on a pot over the fire in the fireplace, and the older gentleman sitting there. They're all wearing leather armor. The older one looks up and says, "Oh, and who might you be?"
Name is Jackson L. Samuel.
And what can we do? What can the Order of the Waldspion do for Mr. Jackson L. Samuel?
Love to become one of your members. I think you need someone like me, honestly.
So he says, "Well, So, I take it that you are a ranger and you have heard of the Waldspion.
I have.
He says, "Well, we would be able
I've
to. We would be.
trying to do this with my low charisma. Here, I'm trying to, okay, how would my character do this? Because he's got low charisma, so I can't be all like charismatic.
Right. Yeah. So, go ahead and uh, just roll a. Uh, what is your charisma?
7.
So he tells you. He says, well, the order, being a member of the order is difficult business. Is But he's kind of looking at you. He goes, your clothes are awfully clean. He says, are you really a ranger?
Been traveling with the party. They prefer these indoor habitat things. But as you can tell from my appearance, I point out my very hairiness and everything. I'm like, I have no problems being out in the wild. Clothes might be clean, but I'm still a hairy,
That's right.
hairy,
Yeah,
hairy.
you are a hairy individual, and he tells you, he says, so we would be willing to bring you in as a Rekitzler, which is their rank for initiates. And he says usually you'll stay a Rekitzler for about a year before you are before we make the decision on whether or not to promote you to Bachjager. And he says these two are actually Bachjagers. Um, and he says I myself am a hunt master. Um, and then our order is um, or no, he's a Drachenmeister, and the order is actually led by a wood elf named Volka Torithro, and Volka is the hunt master. He is a 10th level ranger.
So besides time in your prestigious guild, what else do I need to do to prove my worth? Or do you just get to rank up just by being here? I
Well,
say with some disdain in my voice, like, huh, time alone makes not a ranger.
he says that is true. He says, although he says Rec Kitzlers are generally they have been a ranger for a while before we even pull them in as a Rec Kitzler, and then after the first year, it shows us their worth. And so you'll want to perform great actions that not only bring um, honor to the Order of the Volspion, but help those around us.
Fair enough. And what can you do for me as I work my way up? Because I know what I'll be doing for you.
Well, you'll have access to. We have lodges around that we keep around the mountain that are often supplied. You will be expected to assist in maintaining those supplies. So if you come across a lodge that nobody's at, for instance, and you decide that you and your cohorts want to stay the night there, you are perfectly welcome to do so. They are stocked with firewood, iron rations, um, water, sometimes alcohol, and any that you use, it is expected that you would replenish before leaving. Wash the sheets, and it's like renting a beach house.
Fair enough.
You would have access to that. You would also have access uh, to call upon the Waldspion should should you need our assistance.
Sounds fair trade to me.
So the other thing that all members of the Volspion, and this is something that you are not, I mean, this isn't foreign to you. So um, Rangers can only keep wealth and possessions that they can keep on their person or their mount. So the excess must be donated to worthy causes. The Volspion would be one of said causes. So excess wealth would be donated to the Volspion, which they use, of course, to make or purchase said iron rations that they or build new lodges or assist villages that have come under like hill giant attack or whatever. It's like a cross between a religious charity and a knighthood.
Okay, gives me something to give my excess gold to, so I'm not constantly just trying to spend it all as quickly as I can.
Right. So yeah, he is willing to pull you in as a Rekitzler. And I will spell that out for you.
I was like, yeah,
There
I
you
just
go.
put rank 1. I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm entry level. I
Yeah,
was like, that's
right.
so bad.
Yeah, right.
I mean, spelling out words I can't even say.
Yes, it's all very Germanic.
Rick Kitzler.
And I think that actually means something too, but I haven't. I'd have to look it up again. Oh yes, Rick Kitzler is German for fucking new guy.
Is it really?
No.
I was like, what the hell? That's awesome if it is.
And so Malachi, Mavis, and Laura, you head your way over to this massive 5-story tall tower, and it is the very first floor is cobbled stone, and then there is timber and thatch construction moving up from there, and there, of course, there is this large brass telescope sticking out of the now retracted and open roof, and every once in a while, out of the where is that? On the third floor, as you are approaching this building, on the third floor, every once in a while, you can hear a bang, and you can out of one of the open windows, you can see a puff of smoke come out.
Huh.
And of course, the front door is shut.
Well, I guess we should knock.
Yeah, let's knock on it.
Knocking on the door.
Okay, so you knock on the door, and from inside you can hear somebody cursing in what sounds like deep common, and it sounds like they're descending these stairs, coming down towards you. And finally, after a few minutes, the door opens, and standing before you is this Sverfneblin.
Hello, friend.
He says, "Ah,
Well,
what?" And he looks out, and he kind of looks past you. He goes, "They didn't follow you, did they?"
nobody
Probably.
followed us.
No.
You're sure of
We've
that?
killed everybody we've come in contact with.
We're just
Oh, that-
interested in your telescope.
And he looks at Malachi. He goes, "So you're murderers?"
No.
No, we're just nerds.
Yeah.
We're interested in learning.
Oh, well, go ahead and come on inside. And so he leads you in, and the ground floor seems to be a residence, and and he introduces and says, "Oh, I haven't met you before. My name is Scrap-Nosed Jade Fingers."
That's cool.
And it is the ground floor has a large common room. There is off to the side a little kitchen. There's a separate room that is a library, and then there are 3 bedrooms that take up the first 2 floors of this tower. And he says, "So, what are you looking to learn? You said that you were seeking knowledge."
Yes.
I wanted to learn about the telescope. Like what? You
Oh,
were researching?
you if you want to learn about the telescope, you're looking for Orwin.
Okay.
He's my friend. He's not one of them.
Who are
Good.
they?
Oh, you know them. So what you know about Zwerfneblin? So Zwerfneblin are known as gray gnomes or dark gnomes. They are from the underworld, which we haven't really gotten into the underworld. So there is an entire other world beneath this one. So underground, deep, deep underground. In old D&D terms, it would be now known as the Underdark. But there are the Sverfneblin are generally known to be a little bit unhinged. Like they are not quite psychotic, but they are crazy on the extreme eccentric edge, paranoid, and conspiracy theorist type of shit. Everybody's out to get them, which that's not entirely wrong because a lot of the Zwerfneblin colonies suffered under like mind lasher control. Mind flares would take them and use them as food, and so um, you know, um, Scrapnose has dealt with essentially basically psionic attacks his most of his life, and so it's like most Sverfneblin, he has lost some of his faculties as far as what is and what isn't reality. But he he's like, oh yeah, if you're interested in the telescope, you'll want to talk to Orwin. He's my friend. He's not one of them.
What does this guy study? Anything?
The Scrapnose.
Yeah, Scrapnose.
So Scrapnose, he says, well, he says I mostly spend my time up in my laboratory. He loves minds and machines. He basically sits up in his laboratory crafting gearwork, clockwork things, robots, things of that nature, mining contraptions.
Ooh, that's cool. So his is on the third floor where the banging noises are coming from?
Yes, yes. He says
Oh,
that
okay.
I was working on a new clockwork to aid in gem extraction, and well, I think some of my calculations might be off. Either that or And he looks around. He goes, "They might have gotten in.
Okay,
Sabotage. They do that."
I see.
He says, "So
Do you guys want to see the clockwork things at all, or do you want to go look at the telescope?
If they have something that we can we can take a glance at his mining stuff. If we come across a vein or something, we are about to go into some potential mines.
That's true.
So if we find something that is mineable, I mean, it might be worth it to come bring some clockwork stuff down here to get a bunch of electrum and turn it into coins.
okay." So he's happy to show you his workshop, and he
We need like an automated walking cart.
he says that would be interesting. So he starts thinking about it, and he's like, "Oh, it doesn't have to necessarily be a cart though. It doesn't have to have wheels. It could have like little spider legs, and it could move along, and you would just wind it up every morning." He's like, "Oh, that's
That'd be wonderful, yes, and it could carry, say, 10,000 coins weight.
oh yeah." And so he says, "That gives me some ideas." And so he leads you up to the fourth floor where his workshop is. And in this workshop, there are a literal dizzying array. The place is a fucking mess, but it is a dizzying array of gearwork machines, clockwork automatons, gadgets, and they all sit on numerous workbenches in various states of construction or deconstruction. They all look like they are half finished or in some form of experimentation. And some of these items, to give you a full, there is a clockwork drone, and these drones, they look like a human eyeball that is encased in flat metal discs. And the disc can actually, it has like fan jets, and the disc can fly, and it'll buzz around, and they're designed to act as observers, so it can see around. But that's all it does. He hasn't come up with any way for it to convey what it sees to anybody, but you know, he's working on
That's still pretty cool, though.
that.
You know, if you were to attach a skull to it and just found a way to cast a permanent skull sight on it.
He says, "Oh, the necromancy spell. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
you
deal
could-
with necromancy. I'm a surf nebel, and we deal with illusions. But that's a good idea. Probably, if you want to do something permanent like that, you're going to need to do some kind of ritual."
Right, yeah. But that'd be where I'd go with it.
One of the other items he calls a clockwork overseer, and it is a 3-foot long wooden doll, and it has long, slender limbs. And its job is to basically coordinate and command other clockworks. So it's kind of a command and control unit. And then, of course, he has this other one that is about a fist-sized construct, and it looks kind of like a mechanical beetle, and he calls these clockwork parasites. He's got a number of those sitting around.
What do they do necessarily?
Well, they bite things. I've been working on I want to try and sick them on, them.
Oh my gosh, you found a den of crazy people. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
This is their mental asylum. They just give them stuff to mess with to keep them busy.
yeah. Well, I really think we could use a cart that we could carry large and heavy
He
things
says,
with.
yeah, and he pulls out a large sheet of paper, and he sets it down on a table. He just throws a bunch of gearworks on the floor, and he sets it down. And he starts sketching what looks like blueprints. He says, if you want to, while I'm working on this, if you want to go upstairs and check out the Orwin's telescope, just go up and knock on the door.
I guess that's where we're going.
Okay, so he sits there and gets to work on the idea, blueprinting this thing before he tries crafting anything. And so you guys continue up this stairwell, and you come to this door. It's not locked, and on the door there's a brass plaque that just says telescope.
All right. I guess we knock.
Okay, and so after it takes maybe 30 seconds, and the door opens, and standing behind it is this gnome. Short little pudgy guy, long white beard, red hat, and the entire 5th floor is taken up by a gearwork brass telescope. And there is a crank on the wall that allows the roof to retract, and it allows him, and another one that allows him to aim this telescope that is pointed at the sky. And this telescope, whatever it points to, there is a large crystal globe in the center of the room that it then transmits whatever it is saying magically. It puts illusionary magic onto this globe to display whatever is viewed. and it looks right now like he is looking at what it looks like the surface of a moon. And he says, "Yes. Oh, did Scrapnose send you up here?"
He let us up here.
He says, "Oh, yes, yes. Come on in if you want to see the telescope. Please come in. You're not the first visitors that have wanted to look at my contraption."
Yeah, let's ask him what's on the globe.
So,
If, right.
so he is fascinated with the night sky. He believes that. So there's a lot of myths about what the night sky is. You know, both religious and just whatever. Like there's thoughts that there are that the stars in the sky are actually diamonds that hang over that are draped in the hair of some elder god that looks over the world. But he believes, he said, initially I thought maybe that these were other planes. He says, but I don't think that. I think that there are other worlds like the one that we stand on that are floating out there. And I can see them, but I can't think of any way to get there. I would like to go visit these places. And so what he has it pointed at is one of the 3 moons that floats around this world. And he's just looking. He goes, "It looks like a rather desolate place." And I mean, you can see on the crystal globe in the center of the room that everything there is gray, and there are numerous craters. And he goes, I wonder if there's any dungeons in there.
Have you looked at the mountains around here?
He says,
And stuff with it.
no, but I grew up in the Skellis Mountains. I actually grew up near the west bank of the Great River, but my family was killed and I had to run away. The Rock Skull Orc tribes moved in.
We've extinguished them. A
Well,
lot
you
of their
didn't
tribes.
you didn't kill all the Rock Skulls. You killed one war band.
We killed a war band of them. Then.
Yeah, he says
Oh,
he goes, I don't really wish harm on those people, but I can't say that I'm sorry that you killed them.
so this is blowing our minds, right? Being able to see this on the
Yeah, you guys are yeah, and you're like
like
looking
docking stupidly,
and
right?
and of course because it's daytime, you're looking and all you see is it's a bright sunny day.
Yeah,
You
it's
see a
just
blue
blue.
sky, but what this thing is pointed at is not what you're not seeing a blue sunny sky, and you're like maybe
Amazed.
you might actually be a little incredulous, like maybe this is bullshit,
Yeah. Wow.
Well, if he's always looking up and everything, I'm going to give him the direction that we came from and ask him if he's seen any dragon that was patrolling that area. And maybe he could help us locate its lair
Says,
because we killed it.
yeah, there's many dragons in the area. It's the Skellis Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, he just kind of goes back to fine tuning his telescope, but feel free to look around.
Well, we can look around.
Yeah, let's see if we find anything interesting or good in here.
Yeah. If we're definitely in the daytime and he'll let me move his telescope around, I'm definitely going to scan mountain ranges and look and see if it's a daytime target.
So yeah, I mean you can kind of you're not able you can move the telescope around, but you're not going to get a whole lot of information as far as like looking for specific things. However, I will move this up here for now. One of the things that you can find with the telescope, and I mean, it's still what is coming in is quite blurry because this is a telescope. It's designed to look way out into space. But you can see quite clearly this this volcano over here in the Frostholm Sea. And it is, I mean, you don't see volcanoes. It is believed that most of the Skelos Mountains could be described as extinct volcanoes, or at least dormant volcanoes. This is quite active. I mean, it's not exploding, but there is lava, kind of like a Hawaiian style volcano, and it is in the Frostholm Sea. And the Frostholm Sea is, glacier. The shore goes out to a glacier, and then there are icebergs that just float out in this sea. And you know that at one point, most of the Frostholm Sea was what would have been considered the nation of Stagina, and during the War of the Heavens, when the Council of 12 Elder Gods came down to stop the 3 archdevils that had taken over the world, there were 3 hammer strikes from the gods, and the Frostholm Sea was created in one of those hammer strikes and basically just shattered the earth, and the ocean flooded in and caused massive freezing temperatures. And this volcanic mountain is rumored to be a place of great evil. Nobody has really gone there.
Okay. I mean, that's
That's
interesting.
super cool, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what immediately we can do with any of that information.
Yeah,
There might
it's
just be some
it's
foreshadowing.
way far away.
Yeah. Well, this is really neat.
Yeah, I'm glad we went in here. We got some time to
Yeah.
kill, and we saw some awesome side stuff.
hmm
Okay, so I will divide up some XP for you guys, and we will see you next week. So
That was real minimal XP.
yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot, but if you guys hit that mine next week, there could be quite a bit more. 225 XP each. Actually, that came out better than I thought.
All dragon, all the time.
475 experience points away from level 5 necromancer.
Nice. Clawing your way up, slowly but sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we will pick this up next week at 12 o'clock on Saturday, and you guys can
thank you.
start heading out towards that Electrum mine if that's what you decide you want to do.
I think that's what we're gonna do, right? Is that
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much?
what I want to do for sure.
I mean, gold
I want
and
to see what's in
glory.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna spend our little 4 days here. We might do some magic work over those 4 days.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
this is a great time if you want to scribe
I would like
scrolls or whatever. Or copy stuff into spell books for arcane users. Yeah, this would be the time to do it. While Dentry makes the armor.
Awesome.
I want to take the dragon eyes and pair them so you can look through one eye and see what's looking out the other.
The one thing I forgot to tell you guys, the blacksmith, if he wants to craft those, if you want him to craft those 2 fangs into daggers, he will charge 20 gold pieces per fang.
That's fine for a dagger. That's great.
Okay, so 40 gold
They
pieces.
spent that much just on room and board.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll definitely pay for that. And then is there a way I can magically link these 2 dragon eyes together?
That's a cool idea.
Link them together. Like
when you
magically, I want to be able to look through one eye
with
and
a
see what.
camera.
and see what's
Yeah,
coming out in the other eye.
yeah.
That's a possibility. Yeah. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Could do research.
So you're wanting
yeah.
to basically craft a magic item out of these eyes.
Correct. I want to craft Malachi's white dragon eye.
Yeah, we could.
Maybe you could see like you're like a white dragon, you know,
Yeah. Let
or
me give it
something.
some thought. Remind me throughout the week. We'll discuss it on Facebook, and we'll come back to this next week.
Yeah.
All right. See you then. Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Have a good night,
Thanks.
guys.
Good night.
I'll see you next week.